And we're live, and I'm very excited to see you here. Welcome in our community, and so good to see you here. Let's get started and see why you're here for, because you're all here for a reason. And I want to find out why, so we can really keep going and see how I serve you in the best way. Now, you are here for different reasons, I'm absolutely sure. Some of you are looking for more freedom and a free lifestyle. And I told you that that was on top of my list. Because if you have values for yourself, for me, it was only almost always independence and freedom. And I wanted to travel so much. And so that's why I started my business in the first place. And then some of you are here because you want to start or scale a business. And it might sound weird, but in this time, you've got a huge opportunity online to start a business, because now you can do it with less money. And as long as you're visible, people love sharing your passion and see what you're doing. So I'll come to that later. And then also, that's what I said, you have a passion, and lots of people are so talented. And now imagine that half the world is sitting at home. They're scared, they have a lot of fears, they're bored, and they need you. And they need to see what you're doing and how you can help them. And that's why I want to help you, because I think the world needs us more than ever before. And then you might be here because you just are looking for inspiration. Maybe you have this business or you have a lifestyle, but you want to step up to the next level in your personal life. And that's something I really want to share. And then, of course, you must be here for personal growth. I think there's a lot of trainers and coaches amongst you, and also people who have a business but are really looking for more visibility. And now is the time. And I always say your business can't grow if you don't grow. So you must be here for your personal growth as well. And then, of course, your mindset, because all of us, you know, in every level where we are, and my business partner is huge because he went to the stock exchange last year, and even he says the same. We always got these voices in our head that are keeping us small, and that's what we have to work on. So whatever you are looking for, you are here for a reason, and I thank you so much for having taken that step. Let's go on. Some of you are followers, because I think I've told you I have this passion for traveling, and I've got a Facebook page which is called Women Travel Solo, because I do a lot of solo traveling. And I've got 22,000 followers, and I could hardly believe it myself. And this is such a good example for you, because I only shared my stories. And it was funny because some weeks ago, I wanted to buy a jacket, and I was in that shop. I had a red one and a white one, and I couldn't decide. And I thought, oh, let's make a poll on Facebook. And so I did a poll, do you like this one or this one? And in minutes, I had 65 people saying, oh, that one's better. I wouldn't take white, it gets dirty. And so I want to give you that impression that if you have to share something simple as that, people love it. So don't start thinking that this is not for you. This is for you, because you have that passion to share. And you have a lot of knowledge, I'm absolutely sure. What will you get? I promise you in this webinar that you really need to know where you stand today and where you want to go. And I explained earlier that you all think that's a very big step, and I want to make it in parts. And later I give you the exercises so that you really get the idea, where am I now and where am I going? And then for most people, it's really hard to understand and to get your mind around how you get there, because this world is so demanding. You know, people have jobs and children, and there's not much free time. And then there's an overload of information, especially at the moment with Corona. So you have to focus, which is really so important in this time. And I will help you to focus. And that's also why we do the exercises later, that you understand on what parts you need to focus to make that next step, which has the results you want. And then, of course, I always love the first step, because you can take a many step, but every travel starts with the first step. And that's the most important part. Also, that's why I told you, if you don't do anything, your life will be the same. If you take action, now your body and your mind get used to take action. And that is so important in the moment. What do you need? What do you need? So in the end of the webinar, you will have this insight. Where are you? Where do you want to go? How would you get there? How you get started? And what you need. Is that a good promise? Of course. Also, I want to talk about awareness. This is a really, really funny time, because I think we're really entering a new world. And people know it as the three-dimensional world, Earthlings, us. But there's also a fifth dimensional world at the moment, so where consciousness is so important. And we now have an understanding that thoughts are vibrations and you can manifest with your thoughts. Well, my parents couldn't believe it. But nowadays, there's so much more available to us, and people call it intuition or sixth sense. And then you might say, oh yeah, I've got that. But because we're so busy, we don't use our right brain enough. We're always in the left brain. Oh, I have to point to the other side, I think. And I really want to make sure that you get the awareness that you are really able to make choices in life. And they say success is a decision away. And actually, that's true. But you have to make the decision. And I remember when I was 28, I started smoking, thanks heaven, for a short while, which was weird because everybody started when he was 16 and I didn't. But just being on holiday, I started, and then I wanted to stop, but that was so hard. And one day, because my partner said, I had a few attempts, and my partner said, please smoke because you're so moody. But one day I decided, it was the night that Lady died, and I decided I would never smoke again. And the next morning I had my last cigarette, and that was the last. Isn't it amazing? That's just the decision in your mind. So I really want to make you aware. And then I'll kick you out of your comfort zone. It's amazing because the comfort zone, you know, we have this reptile brain, and it's the fight or flight mode. It's always telling us to keep where we are because that's safe. And the reptile brain is made to keep us safe, so it can't help. But if you really want to step up and you want something new, you have to go around it, because it will keep telling you to stay in your comfort zone, and you can't. And then I know you are talented, and I know you have so much strength. And that's something, I've done a lot of things in my life, and not always on my strength. For instance, I did Forex, and I was quite good at it. But, you know, the first time I liked it, and I made this huge Excel sheet, so I didn't have to do it all by hand. But then every day I had to look at these charts, and every day, and I found it so boring. So then I decided not to do it anymore. And that is also a decision, because if you use your strength and your talents, things are nice to do and you're good at it. And it's way easier to keep doing it. I absolutely want to boost your confidence. So some of the trainings, you will see that you get the inspiration and the ideas, and you start doing things that you've never done before. And then you start liking it. And that's what the brain has to get used to as well. Because if you step out of your comfort zone, the first time is really hard. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. So you'll feel more confident. And of course, inspiration. I think that's the thriving force at the moment. Especially these times, look at television, look at media. it is what I said, not only an overload, but it's very, very negative as well. And all these vibrations, all these negative news and negative things, they create a vibration in which your brain is not making the best decisions. So you've got low vibrations like anger, fear, guilt. And in these vibrations, the brain is not clear. So you need to boost your confidence and boost your vibration. And also because thoughts are vibration and you want to attract these things on the level you need to do. And I will inspire you by showing you what I've done in my life and how I came this far, having a free lifestyle, having a business, having a lot of travels and a lot of great things. So yeah, I'll definitely inspire you. And then because I've been a manager for over 25 years and I've started my businesses, and I've made a lot of mistakes, I can tell you that. And I'm not even ashamed of it because, you know, if you stay in your comfort zone, you don't make mistakes. But if you're an entrepreneur, you make mistakes. So, and I learned so much from them. And I want to help you because you don't need to make the same mistakes. Some you will, but that's learning curve as well. And what I want to do is guide you through that process. And yeah, I'll give you a view in my live later in this webinar. I talked about vibration already, and I'm very high on energy most of the time. And I work on that as well. And I love to be in that vibration because it attracts really good things in my life. So I don't want victims around me. I don't want people telling me that everything is outside them and they're not able to change their lives. I'm also not for lazy people because, you know, only listening is not enough. You have to do things for yourself. And I love to guide you in that process, but you really have to take steps yourself. And I don't like moaners. My time is precious. My energy is very precious. So no moaners. Well, but you are definitely not a moaner. So you are here. And then the question is, why should you listen to me? And two of my very, very great gurus, one of them, my mentors, one of them is a Dutch billionaire. He's a very funny guy. He's a quantum physics and he really physician and he really creates things and manifests things in an extreme way. And he always said, don't believe a word I say. I'm going to repeat this. Don't believe a word I say because I want you to think for yourself and make the decision what works for yourself. Because what works for me is not always working for you. I just want to show you what I do, and hopefully some of the examples will be very useful for you, but make your own path and your own life, please. But why should you listen to me? First of all, I told you my passion is traveling, and I traveled over 50 countries. I counted them. I have this scratch map digital. So I now know I'm at 51 at the moment. And when travelers on my Facebook page, they always ask me, so how come you have the time and the money? But money is actually not an issue. Because for instance, I also do volunteer work. Because I've been a high-end consultant as well in commercial firms and healthcare and a manager. So you can imagine that I can help a hospital in developing countries. And do you think that's valuable? Right? That is valuable. So, and then I give my time, but the organization pays for my ticket. And the organization I help pays for my bed and breakfast. So now I'm traveling for free. Of course, it's taking my time because if I don't work, I don't make money, but that's fine with me. And so it's what I wanted to say, that's not an excuse. And I want to use those examples for you to understand that it's closer than that you think it is. And traveling is such a good experience for your personal life. I'll show you later what I learned. I said I'm manager and CEO in both healthcare and commercial firms. I loved it. I loved it. Not anymore, but I've had huge teams, 500 people, and yeah, I loved it. And I got the business awards. The first one for making a winning team, which was very, to see the team winning, that was one of the biggest days in my life. And the other business award was for innovation, to start something in real estate, which wasn't done before in my country. So yeah, that was nice. I'm also an author. And one of the things I do, because now you think, oh, she's done a lot, but I always find the shortest way by finding good mentors or good trainings. And this one, I did a training that was called How to Write a Book in 28 Days. And I thought that sounds funny, but actually I did write it in 24 days, probably even less because I didn't even work on it 8 hours a day. And it was a book about integrations in healthcare, because I did a lot of them, like joint ventures and cooperations. And somebody had told me, as soon as you write a book, they think you're an expert, and then you have this authority in the market. And so I printed 100 books. I sold 50, so now I had no costs. And the other 50 I handed to CEOs in healthcare. And I always had jobs and projects. So that was how it worked. And it worked for me because it was a dream for me to write a book. So, and the other ones were to American publishers, and I was a co-author, Power of Imagination, which is all about mindset, and Power of Giving, because giving is a very great part in giving, and receiving is a stream which we should keep on going. And I'm also a speaker and a mentor, especially the last years, because now I've got so much knowledge and experience that I want to share it. And that's what I do. And I think what's special about me is my zest for life. And I've promised myself not to live an average life. So that's me. And now you want to know how did I get here, because that's not overnight. And well, of course, it's because I didn't want to live an ordinary life. And it started when I went to Italy when I was 15 or 16. And that's not only where my traveling started, but only where I got this feeling of freedom and independence. Because imagine in my time when you were 16, you weren't traveling. And yeah, I still love my parents for letting me go. And they probably knew I would do okay. But that was a great start of my life. And then also, I love lifetime learning. So I told you I use mentors and trainings, and because if you learn new things, the brain gets used to these things as well. And I love mastering skills, whether it's judo or a language or whatever. I just want to train my brain. And sorry for that. Learn from the right people. That's what I said. Also, learn from the right people and get mentors that have what you have or do what you want to do, because then the path is so much faster. And I do a lot of introspection, and the spiritual people amongst you, they know what that is. I think this is such a strong, so important, because all the answers are inside you, but you don't have the time to listen. And that's what you have to start doing. So this is the package. And the last one is I learned from my mistakes. And now I want to also share my mistakes. I made a few. Now, if you look at your life and you look back, somebody said, if you don't know where you go for the future, imagine that you're standing on a ship and you look back. You see where you're coming from, right? Now, if you look back in your life, what were the things that really changed your life? And maybe it weren't things, it might have also been people. And for me, it's been a couple of things. definitely my sports, my jobs. And it was funny because I've worked really hard in my life until 10 years ago, I think. Really, really hard. And then I sort of got stuck. And then always somebody appeared and said, hey, I've got a job for you. I've got a new project. And that's also because I'm, I think, open-minded and open for opportunities. So that's something else I want to teach you later. So let's move on so we can get to the exercises. This is how I travel. It's not holiday. Sometimes it is. But I told you I do volunteer jobs, but I also did Santiago de Compostela. I went by boat to almost the North Pole to see ice bears and Svalbard, which was an amazing journey, amazing. I hiked and the monkeys had our luggage. So it's always also a sort of introspection, sort of, yeah, I think I learn. And so there I learned my independence, but also my trust and faith, because when I walked Santiago de Compostela, the first 3 days I could only think, can I get water? Can I get something to eat? Where can I sleep? And I was so, man, nervous. But then in that rhythm from walking and the stillness and the introspection, and you gain faith, because there will always somebody offering you water, and there will always be a place to sleep, and there will always somebody to help, which is amazing, especially when you're a pilgrim. People are so kind. And what I also learned is to make connections with different people and learn from their communities and learn from their culture, which is so different from mine. And that's where I start to understand there is no such thing as my truth, because there's so many truths around there. I just want to be the best version of myself, that's all. And so in my businesses, I learned especially teamwork. I love teams because you can do so much more than by yourself, and using my left and right brain. And I love process engineering. Still do sometimes. Now this is learn before you earn, because when I started my real estate business, I made mistakes in the first 2 or 3 houses I bought, really shit. And I had so much trouble to make up for those mistakes, but I've seen it as a learning curve, because I could have done an extra training, which would have cost me money, but now I was learning by doing, and I would never make that mistake again. So this is what you can think of for yourself. What mistakes, where did you learn most? And that is probably also from your mistakes. Later I'll tell you the average of 5, and it's also people you meet, people who trust you, people who have faith in you, which is amazing because they boost your confidence. So find those people around you. Here's some referrals. I'll keep it short. Calvin was 17 and we found his passion. He's a beautiful young kid. And Eefje said, Marina will tell you what you need to hear to improve, whether you like it or not. So I'll warn you. And Lila said, I was stuck in patterns and Marina helped me to get out of them. And yes, I told you I will kick you out of them. Get ready. Grab your pen and some paper, because here we are with the exercises, and I really want you to take this serious. Let's do it. First question is, when I tell you something in this presentation, it's not only for today, but these are all knowledgeable things to do in daily life. So why did they ask you to pick pen and paper and not your laptop? Because now when you are writing, it takes a lot of coordination between your hands and your brains. And that activates a lot of parts in your brain. And so now you can store and manage information better. And that means that you're more likely to remember. So this way is much better than this way. And also it unleashes creativity because your right brain is involved. And the best way of writing is actually ask yourself a question, sit, take a deep breath in, ask the question, and then start writing. And don't stop. Start writing. And keep writing. And then you will find the answers. And if you don't know what to you just say, I don't know what to write, and then it's coming. You'll be amazed. It slows down mental aging. Now, in this time, you really want that. But it also enhances focus, and that's what I said in this overload of information time. You need focus. So, also, when you are on your laptop and it says bleep, you go to your emails, you go to your, so no, pen and paper. 40%, imagine if you write, your 24% more chance to achieve your goals. So, have I said enough? Let's go. Now, what's your ideal life? Learning by doing. That's where we start. Here's the wheel of life, and I will show you the 8 compartments later in the next sheet. But for now, you can, if you Google on wheel of life, you'll definitely find one if you want one. But it has 8 aspects of your life, and you can score them from 0 to 10. So, for instance, business and career, you see that here, the yellow one, right on top. Where are you in business and career if you will rate it from 0 to 10? Do you have the job you love? Are you using your skills? Are you making an impact? Ask yourself those questions. And do the same for finance. And that's not only for today, are you making the money you want to do, but also, do you have the money in the future that you need, maybe for your children to go to college, or for yourself, or to travel, or whatever. This time we'll do it short because this webinar is not too long, but in my trainings we'll do this. I'll ask you way more questions so you can understand better. But for now, score yourself. Health. This is such an important part because a healthy mind and a healthy body go together. And I, for myself, found it sometimes much easier to work on my body. So, for instance, when I'm stuck in a job and I don't know what to do, I don't have jobs anymore, thanks heaven, but when I'm stuck and my brain is keeping those patterns and I can't get out of them, for me, then the body works. So I start walking or hiking or kickboxing or whatever to break the patterns. And then I've got the space to do also the other part. So find for yourself, what health would you like? How much would you like to weight? How would you like to feel? How fit are you? Are you moving enough? And do you get fresh air? And how's your food? So these are the questions you have to ask yourself. And the next thing is, of course, what about your personal growth? Do you have any idea where you want to be in maybe next year or within 5 years? Maybe that's a long period because, you know, life is really weird at the moment. But for instance, next year, did you have dreams when you was a child? And is there anything you would really like to do before you die, for instance? I've got a bucket list. And I've done a lot of things already, but it's the way that you keep on putting things on your bucket list that keep you going. And that's so inspirational. And then you got recreation. Do you have time for your family, your friends, yourself? Because we in the Western world, we are quite raised in a way that we have a lot of duties and we think we have to take care of everybody and then for ourselves in the last part. So that's why there's so many burnouts. Do you really take care of yourself? And do you have the time to do so? So score yourself on 0 to 10. And then your physical environment, where do you live? What's around you? Are you happy with your office, with your house, your whatever? And so the last one is so important, and that's also the average of 5, your family and friends and your relationships, because I'll show you, you're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. And that means that they investigated, these people around you will have the same values, they will have the same sort of income, and they will also have the same friends and family and hobbies. So now when you want something different or you want to get to the next level, in the first place, they want to keep you here because they're safe. And in the second place, if you want there, you want to learn that from them. You need people that are on that level that you want to go to. This was a real eye-opener for me. And that's where I was very strict on the people around me, especially because my time is precious. And people always ask me, do you have more free time than we have? Because you've done so many things. I mean, I travel, I wrote books, you've seen what I've done. But it's not that I have more time. It's that I spend my time more wisely. And therefore, I need the right people around me. And I said goodbye to people because they didn't fit in my life anymore. So yeah, that's what it takes. Now, this world, honestly, I love this world. I've done a lot of quantum physics lately in the last couple of years. And in my trainings, I will incorporate this because the world is changing. The vibration of the earth is going up. And so we have to raise the vibration of our bodies as well. And now we can be more connected if we use the right brain and if we use our senses. But that takes time and awareness. And then, you know, all these things. Have you heard of different timelines? Now, you might think that I'm eerie-weary, but when you decided to move, you know, you lived here and you decided to move, you go to a different timeline because this means that you get a different life. Because when you would have stayed here, your life would have been the same. And so that's what I mean with different timelines. You can make the decision to change your life. And nowadays there's so many choices and so many distractions. And I told you before, I think the good thing of this time, this COVID-19 virus time, is that we're stuck at home. And now we're all Zooming. I've seen Eastern lunches, people, you know, 6 of them or 8 of them, Zoom with their breakfast. And it seems that only now we start understanding that the physical contact is so important because we're all on our phones all day. And now we're starting to miss people and we're starting to miss the hugs and the kisses. And so we're definitely moving into a different planet. And also there's a lot of conspiracy theories and I read them, I watch them because I want to know what's out there, but I don't make them for myself because the question is, can I change all these things? And do I have an influence? Or can I live my own life and make my own ripple effect and help some people in my slipstream to get a better life and therefore create a better world? And that's my choice. So the question is, where is your focus at the moment? And if you really want to get to the next step, then you have to realize that these things, you have to make choices and you have to say no as well. And that's what people find very hard, but you have to. So how do I want you to be? I want you to stay calm when needed and excited the rest of the time and do the things you're really passionate about. Live your passion and have a purpose. And I will find it with you, just what I did with Calvin, because I know deep down there's a thrive and a heart desire. We all have this heart desire. And you know, your passion changes over the years. And also I want you to realize that you can make an impact on other people. And that is why you have to use your talent and your passion, because then people will follow you. In the end, I want you to be the best version of yourself. And now that you have the wheel of life, you have some sort of idea, where are you if you have those scores, which is a 4 and which is a 10, which is way better than the other ones, and where do you need guidance? Where do you want to step up in your life? And one of the questions also is, what do you want to be, do, or have? Because we live in a material world, so we want to have a lot of things, but I think the question is actually, who do you want to be? And if you have no passion or no purpose yet, being the best version of yourself will lead you, absolutely. And now the question is, what do you need to get there? And why do you need a mentor? And I think I said it. You need a role model, you need the inspiration, you need the examples, you need to be taken by the hand, and you need that level where you want to be. And the awareness that you can make these choices. Now, the good news is you can have it all. And I'll show you why. Because I have this online mentorship now, and I do the weekly courses and trainings and a lot of inspiration. I'll show you an insight in my life, and I did it very briefly today, but I'll show you way more than this. I'll do live streams and webinars because in the end, after the short videos, after the practical tips, and after all I give, and the exercises I let you do, because I told you it's doing, this is what I really want for you. Look at your lifestyle and your business and your mindset, because I think you have to work on all three aspects of life. And that's what I really want to lead you through. And now the offer for you is, I told you I do it online, so you can do it anytime and at your own time and speed. And this is the dashboard you will look at. I have different videos, faith and time management and business tips and whatever. I'm not going to ask you for an initial investment. You know, I paid like £10,000 a year for mentors easily, but I'm not going to ask you for an initial investment. I'm going to ask you for a monthly subscription, which makes it more easy for you to step in. And you can unsubscribe anytime, because if you don't like me or if you don't like the trainings, find somebody else, because you need the mentor you deserve. And then also, I wanted to make a special rate, because, you know, I told you, and my investment, if you had to pay me per hour, it would be so expensive. But I want to make a ripple effect. And my dream is actually to build a community. So no initial investment, only a monthly subscription, not my hourly rate. So you're not going to pay $600 a month. But drum rolls, ta-da, here we go. Unsubscribe, yes, I told you this is all for the value of, ta-da, $79.99 a month. And that is only a cup of coffee a day. So now you have the choice. Do you want a mentor and step up? Or do you want to buy that coffee? Well, at the moment you can't, but you know what I mean. So what will happen if you don't this? Your life will stay the same. It's okay with me. But the question is, are you led by fear? Or is it time to catch your dreams? So if you do this now, you know that this is the way to change your life. Thank you so much for listening. You create your life. Don't forget it. Click the link below, and I can't wait to see you in our community. See you there. Thank you so much for listening.